A massive warm welcome to today's web class. I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching, and in this web class we're going to be looking at Anatomy and Physiology Level 3 and how you can pass your exam first time. I've got 3 clear secrets that I'm going to share with you so that you can really accelerate your revision and your studies in preparation for your Level 3 Anatomy and Physiology exam. I'm also going to share with you our Revision Mastery Bootcamp when we get towards the end. So those of you that are here with me live, thank you so much for joining. I've already met a few of you, I've already seen some of the comments coming in. So please do keep those comments coming in throughout. Any questions you've got, just drop them in. Also, if you're watching the recording, you can just drop the comments underneath and we will answer them afterwards. So thank you very much for joining us. So let's go straight in. You're here because you're thinking about your anatomy and physiology, you're thinking about your level 3 and you know you're preparing, but you've hit a few problems along the way. And the problems that you've hit is that you have no idea where to start your revision right now. Probably feeling a little bit lost, maybe amongst a sea of books or some complicated online learning. Maybe your manual is really dull and you're getting to the point whereby you're sort of trying your hardest to read page after page, but as you're going through and reading each page, you find yourself eyelids dropping, or that just reading only is just not how you learn. It might be that you have very little time to study, and what we often hear with learners is that they are currently in the full-time job and they're studying to be a fitness professional. And as they're doing that, they're trying to cram everything in, and with the revision as well, and with family, and they find they actually have very little time to sit down in one specific place and feel like they're chained sort of to the desk for an hour. It's quite hard to find that time to study. You also might have the problem of the fact that if you've Googled online anatomy courses, or you've Googled for information for anatomy courses, it's being pitched at doctorate level, which is much more than you need at level 3. So level 3 is A-level equivalent. So you might find that all the information about muscles that you're looking up is actually pitched at a level much higher than you need and can really add to confusion. You also probably have the problem of that you really want to pass your exam with confidence, which is a good problem to have, is that you really do want that outcome. And what we often hear is that learners don't want to just pass, they want to feel confident in their knowledge so that they can then use that as when they're working with their clients, in their planning, when their clients ask them questions, and also just to know you've got that really solid foundation. So chances are you're experiencing one of these 5 problems at the moment, or maybe more than one, maybe multiple ones. Just drop in the comments box as you're here with us live, and let me know which of these problems are the biggest for you. I had a few people already comment. So Sandra said that for her it's about feeling totally lost, so totally understands that very first problem. Maxine, that time is her biggest bugbear. So even finding time for this web class was a struggle today. So, okay, well, thank you so much for putting time aside to join us today. And I'm sure that the secrets that I share with you today will catapult your revision regardless of where we go from there. So let's have a look at these 3 secrets. First of all, our Level 3 Anatomy and Physiology revision course that we have will absolutely help you pass your Level 3 exams. But before I go into the details of that, I really want to share with you these 3 secrets that you need to know to make your revision successful, whether you decide to join us on the bootcamp or not. And that's because if you decide to join us, we'll give you everything you need that will help give you all of that structure, but that will still be the same for the 3 secrets that we give you. You can apply them regardless of whether you have our bootcamp or not. It will just be super accelerated alongside the bootcamp. So the secrets that you need, first one is to know your exams. So at level 3, you have 2 exams that you need to complete. These do vary in between different training providers and awarding bodies, but the 2 exams are the level 3 Anatomy and Physiology and the level 3 Nutrition for Activity. Now, this is if you're doing the level 3 personal trainer. If you're doing Pilates or yoga, you'll probably have the level 3 Anatomy and Physiology, but instead of nutrition, you'll need to do a level 2 Principles of Exercise. So just bear that one in mind. But for the level 3 PT certificate, you'd be looking at these 2 exams, both of which are multiple choice. They do vary in number of questions and time frame that you have. However, for Active IQ, for example, it's 40 questions and 90 minutes for each of them. So you've got loads of time to be able to work your way through all 40 questions. Now, this is the first part, is that if you know what your exams are and you know what it is that you need to study within those exams, it's the first part of being able to set your learning plan in place and create some structure. which is part of learning smart, which is secret 2. So secret 2 is about having structure, varying the mode, and making a plan. So we've got these 3 sections to secret 2. And when I say varying the mode, this is about how you're studying. So if you take a moment to think now, in fact, drop in the comments box, how are you learning right now? So what are you using? Are you just reading from the manual? Are you just using online learning? Are you just taking notes? Are you just watching videos? What is it that you are doing to learn and revise? And by revise, obviously sometimes people need to learn the content before you actually go and revise it. So whether you're learning, whether you're revising, whatever part of that journey you're at, how are you learning currently? Just drop the notes in the comments box. We've got a few coming through. So Will says he's just reading. Cool. Sally says she's already got our Vision Mastery. That's awesome. So doing all of them. That's great. And Josh is saying that he is literally just relying on e-learning and really struggling, going around in circles. Okay, great. So when you vary the mode, the good thing about this is that we all learn massively differently. And also within each person, even if we have a tendency, say, to be more visual, kinesthetic, or that we like to read or that we like to listen, however we like to learn, we also need a mixture of those. So for example, I really favour audio learning. I like to listen to something in order to help it sink in. However, it's beneficial for me to still see diagrams. It's beneficial for me to watch videos. It's beneficial for me to read certain aspects. And the more you mix that up, even if you have a favoured style, then the more you are likely to succeed at being able to retain that information. So varying the mode is key. You want to mix up between reading, watching videos, listening to audio, doing quiz questions, and also taking notes. And this is something that we've done within our Vision Mastery Bootcamp, is that we've made sure that we've got all of these sections covered. So regardless of how you learn, you can have that mixture of all of the different methods of learning and revising. And this will really, really help all that information sink in, especially when you combine that with acronyms, diagrams, very clear metaphors, things that really help the learning stick in your brain. And that's what we've done in the Vision Mastery Bootcamp. Also, what's really important is that you have structure. And this is part of learning smart, really, really key. If you've got structure, then you don't anymore feel overwhelmed. The overwhelm just disappears. So if you've got the structure, like for example, in a level 3 anatomy, you've got 8 modules. In the level 3 nutrition, you've got 6 modules. This means that you can now structure your time between now and when you have your exam. If your exam's 4 weeks away, you might go, cool, I need to do 2 modules every week. Or I need to do 1 module every week to be 8 weeks away. Whatever it is, you can now add a massive amount of structure, and it means that you know where to start. And at the end of the day, that's what overwhelm is. It's about not knowing where to start. So you cut that in half straight away. The next part is to make a plan. Now, within our Vision Mastery Bootcamp, we've got the bonus of a weekly revision planner. Now, this is an awesome extra bonus that you get. Now this bonus, it basically is a planner, so that at the beginning of every week you write down what it is you're going to do. This is key because what gets diarised gets done. So when you've got your weekly revision planner, you then jot down on there, I'm going to do module 1 on Monday, and then on Tuesday night I'm going to do the cheat sheet for module 1. And then maybe you'll write that you're going to re-listen to the audio again on Thursday. So you can write in all the little sections that you're going to dedicate to your revision within that week. And then with that, you either print it out and put it on your fridge at home and get everyone to hold you accountable to it, or you can post it in our Inner Circle Facebook group, whereby you will be able to be held accountable to that. And that's a really, really awesome way of being able to make sure you're actually taking action on the things you said you would do, so that you can keep the structure in place and therefore be ready for your exam. So the next one is Secret 3, and Secret 3 is about exam strategy. So we've looked at the content and knowing what it is you need to know. We've looked at your learning strategy, and now we're looking at your exam strategy. So how you actually read the question matters a lot. So you could have an infinite amount of knowledge, but if you don't read that question properly, then it means nothing. So it's really important that you have a formula you can follow, especially if the questions are complicated or they're worded in a little bit of an iffy way. So when you read the question, you want to make sure that you've got this formula that you can follow, that you can take your time, and that you don't make any assumptions. So by assumptions, I mean if you start doing loads and loads of mock questions, and you may have found the same problem, so drop it in the comments box if you agree, that you start doing all these mock questions, and as a result of doing the mock questions, you start memorising what the answer is in relation to the question. So for example, the question's asking you something about insulin, so you assume the answer is going to be glucose. So you start linking things together. However, that can appear that can ruin your exam results, because you end up making that same assumption on exam day and not actually reading the question for what it is. Just because it came up in your mock exam doesn't mean that same one's going to come up again in your real exam. It could be reworded, it could be asking you something entirely different. So it's really important that you read the question for what it is. And that's why we've added a bonus into our Revision Mastery Bootcamps called the Instant Passing Hacks, which includes our King's Formula. And the King's Formula is literally a formula that takes you through every step of how to break down every question. So even if it's the most complicated, even if you're dyslexic, even if you have trouble with reading questions, or it feels like the question jumps around the page, then as you're reading it, the King's Formula will help you break it down so you can actually answer the question that is in front of you. And that's what we've done in our Instant Passing Hacks. So we don't only teach you the content, but also how you can actually pass the exam based on the questions themselves. Also, it's important to keep calm on exam day. And a good way of doing this is to do something called a brain dump at the beginning. We talk about this in the Instant Passing Hacks as well, but something that allows you to empty your brain out so that you basically aren't trying to remember all that information, going around in your brain, not trying to remember these key points. You can dump it down on a bit of paper, and also limit any kind of noise before or after your exam, just so you can really focus on each question that you have in front of you. So they're the two parts that make up Secret 3, which is all about having a very clear exam strategy. So they're the 3 secrets that I wanted to share with you today. And if you apply those 3 secrets, then you will already transform your revision now. Like, you'll go and get results now in terms of how you're learning, how you're remembering, how you're revising, and how you're passing your exam. So I've had a couple of comments come in about people reading questions. So Sally again is saying that reading the question is the hardest part for her. Even if she knows it, like she goes back over, reads it, and gets the question back the wrong way. Yes, so sometimes you might find that you reword the question. So if you, for example, have done all your exam and you go back through and you start reading and start changing your answers, sometimes that's a good thing because now you're reading the question properly, and sometimes it's a panic thing whereby you're starting to second guess yourself. But if you've very much read the question and you apply the formula to really highlight those main areas, then you're able to really justify why that is the right answer, and you're not second guessing yourself or doubting your answer. Fantastic. Okay, great. So I want to share with you what learners are saying about our Revision Mastery Bootcamps. And I know Sally's already on our bootcamp. She joined yesterday, so I'm glad you're enjoying it. So Anna says, thank you. I passed my Level 3 Anatomy and Physiology exam this weekend with 90%. Wow, fantastic. The exam strategy I learned during Revision Mastery was the difference between a pass and fail for me. When the nerves kicked in, I was able to clear the brain fog and focus. I think that kind of explains everything about what I was just saying about how if you can have a good exam strategy, it is so invaluable. Especially, knowledge is important, but the exam strategy really is key. John Ross is saying knowledge is power, and I feel so much more knowledgeable now that he's passed his Level 3 A&P and can feel the amount of knowledge that he's got as a result of now going forward to becoming a personal trainer. So he says, I'm so pleased I've achieved my goal of becoming a PT. That's awesome. Tanya is saying that, today I passed my Level 3 A&P. I'm now a qualified sports massage therapist. You even got a whoop in there. Fantastic. I can't recommend the Revision Mastery enough. It not only helped me pass confidently, but I actually understand anatomy for the first time. Thank you. I can't express how amazing it is for us to hear that. That's why we actually put together our Revision Mastery Bootcamp. It's why we do what we do in parallel. It's so that you actually understand it, so you can be confident and so you can go forward and use this as a PT, as a fitness professional. So it means a lot to hear this kind of feedback. Emma says, I love that you can pause, repeat and rewind, unlike the restricted e-learning from my provider. Amazing. The beauty of being able to use the audio downloads and the videos, we've heard time and time again how much this helps people, because we all learn at a different time frame, and you might find, even if you're learning in a classroom environment, that you just kind of want to pause your tutor sometimes and just rewind them and hear it again. And that's the beauty of it being video and audio, rather than sort of like slides you have to click through, or like complicated e-learning you might have done. So you can rewind and repeat and do as many times as you want through the trickier parts. So that is fantastic to hear. So all this feedback that we get from our learners, we've got a specific place for that. I'm going to include the link so that you can go through and read all the other amazing things that we've heard from all of our learners and what they're saying about our Revision Mastery Bootcamps. But what I'm really looking forward to is what you would be saying at the end of your Revision Mastery Bootcamp. So Sally, you only started with us yesterday, I believe it is. But I would love to hear what you already think of your bootcamp. So drop that into the comments box. And obviously, if you're looking for that extra help with your anatomy and physiology and with the remainder of your fitness exams, then I have a special premium offer for you today. This is just for those of you that are here with me on the web class. I am going to extend it for those of you watching the recording as well, so look out for the link underneath. And this is our premium offer. So this is basically everything you need to complete all of your level 3 exams. So this includes the level 3 anatomy and physiology, the level 3 nutrition, and something called our muscle memory sprint. So what we found is that learners find the hardest section of their anatomy is the muscles, and that's because they're trying to learn it inside a 1 hour chunk of information, or they're trying to sit down and remember 50 muscles instantly, and it doesn't really work like that. It becomes a very hard way to learn. So instead, we've created a muscle memory sprint that structures it over time. So this means that you have 28-day sprint emailed to you, which means every day you get a flashcard with images of the muscles on it, and also audio. Now that audio download allows you to be able to listen to me explaining about the muscle, and it's designed so that you can do it in 10 minutes of revising every day for 4 weeks, and then you've learned all the muscles. And we've had really, really good feedback about how much this has helped people structure their revision and really understand the muscles. So the muscle memory sprint is part of the anatomy and physiology exam, so they go hand in hand, but it's an extra section of your learning. And then you've also got the level 3 nutrition in there. So you've got 8 modules for the level 3 anatomy and physiology bootcamp, 6 modules for the nutrition. These are all HD video tutorials, and you can download to MP3 and MP4, as well as the cheat sheets that go alongside them. And then the muscle memory sprint, like I explained a moment ago, where you've got 20 MP3s, 28 days of emails, and 50 flashcards and muscles, as well as all the descriptions about the muscles as well. Now you get lifetime access to all 3 of these. So even when you pass first time with absolute confidence, then you can access all of this information again straight away afterwards. So you can just come back to it. You can come back to it later on. If you go on and do further studies, you can come back and refresh your knowledge. And we find that learners like to do this, especially with the muscles, come back and refresh the knowledge over and over again. The bonuses that you get on top of this, we've got a learning secrets, which is about understanding how to learn, revise and retain knowledge. Then you've also got the instant passing hacks, which I mentioned earlier, which will give you the King's formula to help you really break down the questions. The weekly revision planner, again, I mentioned that earlier, which will help hold you accountable, schedule time to revise and focus your attention towards completing specific video tutorials and cheat sheets each week, so that you know you're moving forwards with structure. You get unlimited student support, which is access to me and Neil as your tutors. You can literally just email us and we'll turn that around so that you've got some questions, and so that you've got someone to answer all of the questions that you have. You get lifetime access across all of it, and you can join our Inner Circle Facebook group as well, which is a really, really great group, really supportive group, a safe place that you can ask questions, support others, and also celebrate when you pass, which is great. And you also get extra videos and unseen mock questions. So there is tons in there, but not tons so that it overwhelms you. It's all the relevant information and the relevant things so that you know you can pass both of those exams. So it is usually £693, which is £299 each for each of these packages that we have. However, at the moment it's only £104, which saves you 85%. So that includes the Level 3 Anatomy and Revision Bootcamp, the Level 3 Nutrition and the Muscle Memory Sprint. So I've got included the link here in the comments box. If you're watching the recording, it will be with the video as well, so make sure you look for that link. If you have any questions, now's the time to just post those in. So those of you that have got questions, please do put those in, especially if you're here with us live. If you're watching the recording, still leave questions, and we can definitely answer them afterwards. So what have we got coming in? So Sandra's saying muscles, is that a separate exam? No, so the muscles, you don't get a separate exam on the muscles. The muscle memory sprint will help you with the muscle section from within the anatomy and physiology. Fantastic. So yeah, this is usually the area that people struggle on most, so you've got an extra bit to help you with really, really breaking down and understanding the muscles. Will saying I struggle with the muscles most. There you go. Yeah, so how do the MP3 work is what Will's saying. So the MP3 basically is a click. So once you log in, you log in, say on your phone, you'd log into your revision area. So you basically have a Academy login. Log in, you can click on any of the buttons, either your anatomy, your nutrition, or the muscle memory sprint. Let's say you go to the muscle memory sprint, you click in there, and then as you go through, you can then click on the one that you want to download, and it will download it straight to your phone. It is different with lots of different devices, but it's not hard. So what we've included is a non-techie guide to help you download that specific to the device that you have, whether you're on iPhone or Android, or whether you're using a tablet. It's all a little bit different, and we've got a guide to help you work that out for you and help you follow through. Yeah, MP3s, really easy to download. MP4s, easy to download. We had one learner recently that was going away on holiday, so she downloaded all of the MP4s for her Level 3 Anatomy in advance. So she had the videos saved on her phone, or on her iPad, I think it was, for her on holiday. And then she also downloaded and printed off all of her cheat sheets, and then she literally sat on her sunbed watching the videos and doing the cheat sheets. She didn't need any Wi-Fi for the time she was out there, and it meant that she could use that time maximally while she's chilling on a sunbed. So if you've got a holiday lined up, that's a good one too. So yes, they are very easy to download. And if you do have any problems beyond that, you can just give us a call or use the student support, and we'll help you with that. Maxine says she likes to write. So I'm guessing you mean in relation to when you're actually like taking revision notes. What we often find is that when learners are, say, using a manual in particular, they will start writing it. They almost rewrite the entire manual as their notes. So this can take a long time, especially if you don't have that time availability, but it also means that you're sort of not necessarily condensing the information in a way that you understand it, you're just rewriting it. So what might be better, and what we often challenge people to do, is to try and condense that down to just the odd bullet point. So ideally per module, you want 5 to 8 pieces of information maximum, rather than rewriting the entire manual. And a good way of doing that is to follow information from the cheat sheet, because it'll help précis that down and help you focus on the main areas. Great. Okay, I think that's all of the questions. If anybody has any other questions, then just drop them in. That's absolutely wonderful. Can I revise? Well, yes. So if you're out and about all the time, if you're commuting to work, a really good way of making the most of the time that you have is to download the MP3s to, like I said earlier, to your phone, and then listen to them when you're driving on your commute, when you're walking the dog, when you're in the gym, when you're cleaning the house. Really good way to double up on time, because you can get the extra repetition. Cool. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today for today's web class. I'm going to wrap it up there, because I know a lot of you have got places to be. If you haven't already joined us on the Premium Revision Mastery Bundle, make sure you click the link that is with this video. If you do have questions, then please do reach out to me. That's absolutely fine. I can see that a few of you that were here live have already joined us, which is absolutely fantastic. And I really do look forward to seeing the results you have, and I'll see you on the inside. Thank you for joining me. Have an amazing day ahead. Take care.